Welcome back to Uninformed Movie Reviews, the movie review podcast where we review movies, sometimes other things.
A beautiful description of the podcast, Frank.
But today it's movies.
Today we're talking about movies.
Yeah, on brand today.
I am Danny Two Hands, and this is Franklin.
Yes, just I don't need to point out how many hands I have. I would hope the listeners would assume that I have two of them.
I mean, that would be an awful big assumption.
Yeah, some people don't. Some people no hands.
Some people have 3 hands.
Some people have 3 hands, correct. Anyways, before we get off topic into just talking about how many hands people have
and why they like them.
For the holiday season, we figured we'd bring back an old classic, another step in our journey to find out our favorite movie of all time, at least up until this point. Obviously, there are other movies that haven't come out that we haven't seen, and other movies that have come out that we just haven't gotten around to see yet, or something like that.
That was the least clunky I think I've ever heard.
I went in all confidence, and I'm pretty sure I got it wrong.
Midway, you were like, what's happening? What am I doing?
Always in the middle of going through that whole spiel, I black out in the middle, and then I come back, and it's over.
Well, before we get to that, though, I'd like to thank our new listeners for coming to the channel. Yay! We hit 300 subscribers!
Wah, 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 wah.
He's on fire!
Yeah,
as a channel, we grew to a new step, 300 subscribers, greatly in part to our friend Goose Boost. Thank you for the shout out. Also, maybe organically, I don't know, we're kind of okay sometimes. Welcome to the channel, guys. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We have UMR coming out on YouTube and everywhere you get podcasts every Sunday. We also have Character Limit Exceeded coming out. Not every Sunday. I lied. It's like 2 Sundays a month. Character Limit Exceeded, though, also coming out on YouTube. Be sure to hit the bell so you get them right up in your feed, right up in there. Also, be sure to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review or whatever you feel, I guess.
Yeah, just be honest. Let us know what we're doing wrong, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Let's get to it, yeah?
Yeah, what super niche subgenre are we talking about today, you might ask? Well, you should have paid attention to the title when you clicked on this podcast. We're talking about dysfunctional family films.
My favorite.
Yes.
Frank, why do we find comfort in dysfunctional family films?
Because families is hard.
Families is hard.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, I don't know, one side hates the other, or one side sues the other, or one side tries to kill the other. I don't know.
All kinds of other things. Even if you love your family, sometimes you're like, oh my God, get me away from these people. It happens.
It's quite often.
What are you going to do? So we're here to talk about our favorite dysfunctional family movie. But first, our runner-up for favorite, which is the one we like the second best.
Fair conclusion.
And why don't you kick us off here, Danny? What do you got?
Why don't I? I'm going to start with my runner-up, which is not my number one.
Correct.
As I've come to find out with enough time.
Yeah. You're getting pretty good at this.
I am talking about 1996's The Birdcage.
Ooh, excellent choice. Yeah.
Directed by Mike Nichols and adapted by Elaine May, starring Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, Gene Hackman, Hank Azaria of all Simpsons fame, Diane Wiest, I think that's how you say her name, Callista Flockhart, and Dan Futterman.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fantastic choice.
Yeah, thank you. And for those who haven't seen, I know we have done a CLE on this before. Go ahead and check in our back catalog now that you're new here. Just to give you a brief synopsis of The Birdcage, a gay cabaret owner and his drag queen companion agreed to put up a false straight front so that their son can introduce them to his fiance's right-wing moralistic parents, one of them being a right-wing senator.
Ultra conservative.
Ultra. I mean, these people, and you know what's funny is these people are like 90s version of conservative, to where, you know, that shies in comparison to what that is now.
Yeah, well, now they have the boldness that Trump gave them. You know what I mean? That's how they always thought behind closed doors. But now they feel like they just can say that stuff in public.
They don't need nuance anymore.
No
They're not
nuance.
scared of people understanding what they really think.
No, they prefer it, as a matter of fact. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
I loved when we watched it to do the CLE. Grace and I actually just watched it recently. Fantastic film. What a great time. It could also be on a movie ranking of worst movie sons, because that guy's asking
he is
a lot
bad
of his
son.
dad. Yeah.
Quite a terrible son. Asking his son to do, asking his parents to do terrible things.
Yeah. Not like unspeakable, just unforgivable almost.
Unforgivable.
Speaking of unforgivable, I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't hit the numbers here. With its 118-minute runtime, The Birdcage currently has a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb with an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Criminally low.
Yeah, I would say that's lower than it deserves. I don't know if I have any issues with it. And whatever.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
y'all should learn to have some taste.
Yeah, we'll get there. Budget of $31 million, had an opening weekend of $18,275,828 U.S. American dollars, and will go on to worldwide gross $185,260,553. That's a nice little chunk of change.
Vivarium.
And that's that's 90s money too.
Yeah, that is a lot. I mean, that's quite a lot. I remember watching this movie the first time on videotape with my family, actually, on aunts and stuff. They showed us this movie, and I was arguably a little young to see this movie and fully understand its humor, but it's still just a funny movie, whether or not you understand the nuances it's taking.
I mean, just watching Hank Azaria do his thing is worth it alone.
Yeah, Agador Spartacus.
Oh, it's fantastic.
His Guatemalan-ness.
It's these shoes. Yeah.
What was that? Make peasant soup. What is peasant soup? I don't know. I made it up.
Oh man, yeah, just them awkwardly like trying to stomach that nasty soup.
There's an egg in it.
There's like hot and sour peasant soup. Yeah.
There's that. I mean, there's the famous How to Be a Man scene with Nathan Lane and Robin Williams at breakfast in the most South Florida you can look.
Oh yeah,
possible. Just being like, put your damn pinky down.
Nathan Lane's scream is fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah. Actually, I have a bunch of fun facts about this movie that we'll go through, but right now, because we're talking about the scene, I'll put it up right now. Mike Nichols actually the director required that a heavy blanket be put over him when they were filming that scene with a toast scene with smearing it, because he could not stop laughing every time it would go through.
It's pretty fantastic. Men smear.
Smear. Put the bacon down. And I pierced the toast. And he's like, it's okay. It's okay, because as men, we don't freak out if we pierce the toast, which is not true. Men freak out all the time.
Boys do cry.
Boys do cry. How about them dolphins? Actually, I also heard that the director was pretty serious about, like, even though he had great improvisers like Nathan Lane and Robin Williams on with them, he told them, like, look, my deal with you is we need to get one scene as it is on paper first, and then we can improvise.
Eat your vegetables, and then you can have dessert.
How can you have your pudding if you can't eat your beans?
Yeah. Fair point.
I mean, as far as dysfunctional families goes, how much more dysfunctional can you get? The son is a big city guy who's moved away from his dad and his other dad, and his fiance doesn't know anything about them. Actually, I don't think the fiance does know that they're gay.
Yeah, he knows that the like what they do for business. I get the feeling that they've met. Like,
no, they haven't
met this girl.
Yeah, he's bringing him home to like introduce, and then to also ask her to get married, I think, right?
Yeah. Or even just mom aspect. It's not like the son is the result of like a passionate night between like theater buddies.
That's true.
And she just kind of like leaves Robin Williams to do all the parenting.
Yes, and it's played by oh man, I forget her name, but she was the one that played the mayor's wife in The Grinch.
True.
In 2000, The Grinch.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she's great. So, and then you also have them coming home for is it Thanksgiving? Or is it just to meet? I think
no. Yeah, he's just bringing her home to they're two young kids getting married. The families want to meet each other, as you do,
and they have to meet Senator Gene Hackman.
Yes, he's so conservative. As a matter of fact, one of the things they have to hide is their Jewish face. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about that. That was weird. And there's plenty of uncomfortable moments, like especially when they're at dinner and he's, what's the thing he says right now? He's like, I think homosexuality is what's wearing this country thin, and it's just like about the gays in the military, and it's just a lot of things. I guess things that were really, I mean, definitely like a big part of the discussion in the zeitgeist back then.
Yeah, Gene Hackman's character definitely, he was probably be too old at this point to storm the Capitol on January 6th, but he definitely would have like unlocked a couple of doors.
He would have, and he would have like deleted a couple tweets condemning it probably the next day after.
For sure.
What was I going to say? Actually, what's funny enough is there was a moment in the movie where Gene Hackman and his character actually gives like the Nixon peace signs to like a camera or something like that. But what's ironic about that is that Gene Hackman was so outspoken against Nixon in real life that he was actually on Nixon's enemy list.
That's kind of a fun list.
Pretty metal.
Yeah,
right?
That's pretty dope. Pretty punk rock.
That is pretty punk rock. Fight the power, Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank, what's your personal experience with this movie?
I love it. I love the Birdcage. I'll watch it again right now if I have to, even if I don't have to. I mean, just the team alone of like Gene Hackman plays a fantastic straight man. No pun intended. Robin Williams and Nathan Lane combo. I wish we would have got to see that more because it's so good, man.
It is perfect.
And just as a fun, like a moose boosh almost. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, I should watch Mouse Hunt again. Like it always like leaves me craving Mouse Hunt.
That's that Mouse Hunt.
Mouse Hunt. Yeah.
That's funny because Mouse Hunt is definitely one of those children's movies that like just is too good to be a children's movie. You know what I mean? Like it's that funny. And it's funny that you say that about watching The Birdcage because I actually have a fun fact. Channel favorite, director Paul T.W.S. Anderson III. I'm just kidding. Director Paul T. Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson has said that
we goof around with the name so much that it's hard to
right.
actually get it. Yeah.
He said that this movie is actually one of two films that without fail or question will make him stop dead in his tracks and watch all the way to the very end, no matter what else is happening or what else needs to get done. The other film being Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, which I totally agree with on both of those.
That's totally fair.
I can't just not watch the entire thing once I see a part of it.
It's like you catch any part of this movie and you're like, well, I got to sit all the way to the cabaret scene at the end, like The Shining. You're like, well, I got to watch him chase his family around this hotel, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the build up to The Shining is just so good. Anyways, we can gush about The Shining on another time.
We'll get there on our MovieQuest movies about hotels.
Movies about hotels and movies about axes. Another fun fact, Robin Williams was originally cast as Nathan Lane's Albert, but he wanted to change from flamboyant characters. Also, with his character dressing in drag, the film would have basically been a repeat of Williams' film from earlier, 1993's Mrs. Doubtfire, another dysfunctional.
That's a pretty good
movie.
one, and it's weird. I didn't even consider it for this one.
Right?
Yeah.
So then he was asked to be cast as Armand, who's the straight man, which you do not see. I mean, a straight man in a...
the gay straight man.
The gay straight man in a theatrical sense, if you will. Theater. Yeah, I mean, thinking about Robin Williams as being the straight shooter is like kind of interesting. I mean, you don't really see it again until like something like Good Will Hunting.
True.
I think he's pretty straight-laced in like Dead Poet Society.
Yeah.
What Dreams May Come, but I can't really think...
Flubber.
Now that's a classic. Yeah, and apparently Steve Martin was originally cast to play Armand.
Huh. That could have been good.
That could have been good because it kind of seems like Robin Williams is putting on a Steve Martin impression, don't you think?
I could see that. Yeah.
It's weird. When I heard that, I was like, that makes arguably too much sense.
Huh.
But it was a scheduling conflict, and apparently Steve Martin really does regret not taking the role.
I mean, yeah, that's regretful, but I mean, it worked out for the best. Nathan Lane absolutely knocks it out of the park. He's one of the best parts of the movie.
I was also going to say that while Nathan Lane, like his character in the film, is openly gay. At the time of the film, he had not came out. So this was...
Damn, that's got to make you sweat a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but
if you're like trying to hide who you are, but you're playing who you are, like...
I wonder if there was any discussion about it, like in the time or anything like that. Anything on articles or anything like that. Also, a fun fact, with 18.3 million, as you had said before, Frank, it had the highest weekend opening gross with an openly gay character. And that stayed like that until 2009's Sacha Baron Cohen's Bruno.
I mean, that's pretty tough. Bruno's pretty rough.
That is an intense movie.
Yeah, even something like Bros, the rom-com that just came out.
That. Yeah.
Bros flopped in theaters because it had the gay tax. You know, a lot of people just didn't want to go see it because it'll make them gay or something. I don't know.
What a bummer. It'll make them gay. Well, you don't want to risk that.
Yeah.
What a bummer. Anyways, actually, just one fun fact on top of these other fun facts. It's an English language remake, The Birdcage.
Yes.
Of a 1978 Franco-Italian film, La Cage aux Folles. I think I said that right.
Sounds close enough.
Tell me right in the comments. And a musical of the same name. So it is from a play adaptation.
Lovely.
Yeah. I got to say, there is just so much fun to this film. It is just fun to watch all around.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria is next level funny.
I mean, almost steals the show. Like, if he was in more of the movie, he would quite possibly steal the show.
Nathan Lane is second, I think. But just the way, you're right, Nathan Lane and Robin Williams play off each other are just fantastic. Even Gene Hackman and Diane Wist, I think, is his they do great. I mean, they do great as like the fish out of water people in South Florida.
Yeah, it's
out
so
of
cute.
touch. And you got, the other people like Val and Callista Flockhart. They're fine too, but I mean,
their characters are so diametrically opposed. Like,
right?
There's when they're sitting eating dinner, Gene Hackman's just talking about the drive down, and he's like boring everybody. Like, they're like falling asleep in their chairs because they live like on the beach in Miami, Florida, at this cabaret club. Every day's excitement, you know what I mean? And Gene Hackman's just like, yes, driving through our beautiful country and seeing the seasons change as we drive through our beautiful states, and he drones on and on. It's so fantastic, man.
I also love at dinner with that the Greek bowls scene.
Oh yeah. What are those? Yeah, it appears to be young men wrestling.
I have women on mine. Don't you have women on yours? I don't see any women on mine.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, Greek.
They were doing sex stuff.
Oh, Greek philosophers
yeah.
like to bang boys. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So before I bring us to a total downer, Frank, what's your runner-up?
My runner-up for dysfunctional family movies, my favorite of them, is going to be 2007's. I'm struggling to open my phone here. 2006's Little Miss Sunshine.
That is a dysfunctional family.
Yes, quite dysfunctional.
Yeah, dude. It's been a while.
It's been like 12 hours. I watched it last night. Something
Nice.
like 24 hours, something. I don't know. Not good with numbers. Speaking of which, with its 101 minute runtime.
I'm also the numbers man.
Also the numbers man. Little Miss Sunshine has a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb and a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty fair.
Yeah.
Made on a budget of $8 million, had an opening weekend of $370,998. But would go on to worldwide gross $101 million.
Wow.
$58,954.
A sleeper hit.
Yeah,
if you
sleeper
will.
hit for sure. Directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Ferris, a husband and wife directorial team. This is actually their first feature film director job. They mostly did music videos for bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, REM, Weezer, The Offspring, and they actually did Korn's Freak on a Leash video.
I know that video.
I know you know that video. Yeah, we all know that video.
I want to know what Weezer video they did.
Was also the writer's first feature film gig. A dude named Michael Arndt. He did Toy Story 3,
familiar, yeah.
Oblivion, The Hunger Games Catching Fire, and a small indie project called Star Wars The Force Awakens. I don't know if I've never heard of it.
He wrote that?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I mean, I'm not that impressed. It's basically a carbon copy.
Yeah.
of A New Hope.
A carbonite copy.
Hey.
Starring Steve Carell, Toni Collette, Greg Kinnear, Abigail Breslin, Paul Dano, and Alan Arkin. Absolutely bomb cast.
What
a
an
small
awesome
little
cast.
ensemble cast.
What an
yeah.
awesome cast.
There's like a couple other characters, like people just happen to be in the background and stuff like that. being held up by anybody else. Everybody does a fantastic job. Even Paul Dano, who doesn't even speak till the last 30 minutes of the movie, is killing it.
Yeah. I mean, he's an amazing actor.
He really is.
I was going to say, this is an instance we were talking about with like Robin Williams as a funny man doing straight-laced kind of stuff. Another instance of Steve Carell doing some really good straight-laced stuff.
Yeah, like highly depressed Steve Carell. He kills it.
Yeah, he does.
The first time you see him, he looks like absolute. He looks horrible the first time he shows up on screen. For those of you unfamiliar, Little Miss Sunshine's about an aspiring motivational speaker, Richard, and an overworked mother, Cheryl, who pile their family into a less than mint condition VW bus to drive from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Redondo Beach, California, a drive we're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, not that far.
For the most part, yeah. In order for their youngest child, Olive, to compete in...
like a pageant?
I totally wrote that sentence totally wrong. And in order for Olive to compete in a pageant in Redondo Beach, Little Miss Sunshine is the name of the pageant.
Oh,
what?
Head blows.
They are joined out of necessity and circumstance by Edwin, who is Richard's father and Olive's talent coach, who lives with the Hoover family after being evicted from a retirement community due to his heroin habit. Frank, played by Steve Carell, who's an unemployed scholar, and Cheryl's gay brother, who is currently staying with the family following a failed suicide attempt. And Dwayne, who is Cheryl's Nietzsche-reading teenage son who has taken a vow of silence in order to achieve his goal of becoming a fighter pilot. The family proceeds to rub each other the wrong way in the close quarters of the bus, and their already shaky bonds, along with their vehicle's mechanical integrity, are stretched to their limits. It's a delightful film, but not a delightful road trip. These people don't want to be in the car together. You know what I mean? The only reason Steve Carell and Paul Dano are there is because they can't be left alone. But Paul Dano because he's a teenager, and teenagers do wild things when they're left to their own devices. And Steve Carell because he might kill himself.
Yeah.
It's so good. Everybody plays off each other so well, and it's not like they're quipping back and forth. It's just fantastic. The first time they're all eating dinner together at the table, and Greg Kinnear's just being like his unbearable type A self, like just like constantly bringing up, he calls it his 9-step plan.
Positivity.
The 9 steps of, something lame. I put it out of my head because all that stuff is kind of like, bleh.
Tony, whatever. What's his name?
Danza?
No. Well, yeah, Tony Danza shit too. Very positive tap guy.
But yeah, Steve Carell just looks at Paul Dano like, Jesus Christ, is like this all the time? And Paul Dano was not speaking, so he's just like, yep. But it's great.
That would drive me to suicide probably too.
Maybe. Heroin grandpa, fantastic. He's just got like super foul mouth, does not give a shit what anybody has to say. When they're like trying to give him crap in the van for doing heroin, he's like, of course, when you're young, you're crazy to do that stuff. When you're old, you're crazy not to do it. Like, who cares?
Sage advice.
Yeah.
That's sage advice. I forgot that Greg Kinnear's in this one, man.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun guy.
He's a super dadded out the whole time. He's wearing like button-up shirts that are way too baggy, khaki shorts that are way too high. He's got the like white ankle sock and white dad shoe combo. I vibe with it.
The Seinfeld special, if you will.
The Seinfeld special, if you will. And I will. I've been known to rock the dad vibes myself. I should have done it today. What are you going to do? It's too cold for that.
The one day.
Yeah, it's too cold for that.
Yeah, man. I think it's a fantastic choice. Fantastic choice, man. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I do remember enjoying it thoroughly, though.
Yeah, I'll watch it every couple of years. It's been a favorite of mine, like since it came out. Since I watched it back when I was like 15 years old.
Got a dark humor to it.
I've been rewatching this movie as long as I've been watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know what I mean?
That's like one of those useless NFL stats. That was really nice.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the first time a cornerback has ran to this part of the field since
a rookie year of 1966. Thank you. We needed time to fill up.
Yeah, for reals. Yeah, man. I have nothing but positive memories of this film. My rewatch, I enjoyed it just as much as I had every other time. Great. It was Grace's first time watching it. She
Very nice.
thought it was nice.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Thumbs up.
She liked it more than my number one pick. What are you going to do?
Oh,
yeah.
I like that. I want to know. All right. Well, shall we go on to My number one?
Yeah, I would just say like it's funny. It's got all its funny moments. It's also incredibly sad and depressing.
It's riding a wave of sadness.
Yeah, it's I can't get enough of it. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's streaming on Hulu, I'm pretty sure right now. Hulu or HBO Max. Those are the two streaming services I was using yesterday.
It's a very good insight to America.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And the familiarity of just like driving through the Southwest. I was like, I've been here. I've been here multiple times.
Just vast amounts of nothingness and being stuck with your family in a van.
Yeah. At parts of it, you will hate members of that family as much as members of that family hate those members of the family. It's a good time.
I'd say that's a film well done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to say for my number one, big old drum roll, I am talking about possibly one of the best movies ever made. 1990's Home Alone, directed by Chris Columbus and written by John Hughes, starring your boy Big Mac Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Candy as Gus Polinski, the Polka King of the Midwest, and Catherine O'Hara.
Polka?
Huh? Kenosha Kickers? Nothing? Polka, a.k.a. Kiss Me?
Oh, fantastic. Also, it should be mentioned, not Christopher Columbus, the genocider, Chris Columbus, the movie director.
Thank you. That's a good clarification.
Yeah.
For those of you who do, and there are some people who haven't seen Home Alone. I mean, I'm surprised all the time, but a basic synopsis is an 8-year-old troublemaker must protect his house from a pair of burglars when he is accidentally left home alone by his family during Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've seen dysfunctional families, but the kind of dysfunctional that the McAllisters are is one that's very relevant.
Well, I was going to like condemn them for being like, they forgot one of their kids when they went to Paris. But to be fair, there's a lot of people in the house when all that's going down.
When you have that many, like Grace, you have what? 15 siblings? 14. How many times has anyone almost forgotten that another one existed?
All the time. There's been hundreds of times where people got left behind, myself included.
That's what I'm saying. If your family's big enough, there's no way you can keep track of that.
That'll happen. In Little Miss Sunshine, they forget the little girl at a gas station for a second, and they only have 2 kids.
And they're the reason. She's the reason they're going on the trip.
They're there. Yeah.
I mean, this movie, I really live for the scene that is the night before they disappear, or the night before they leave him there, because it's such a great representation of what life as a young kid was when my family, one side of my family in particular, was like cool with each other and we all used to get together for Christmas and stuff. House was chaos.
Yeah.
The house was absolute chaos.
Just noise
and
movement
ringing through the entire house. Yeah. Movement, things slamming, like people yelling at each other, fights starting out, and like yet everyone's having a blast and everyone wants to keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I even love while they're ordering pizza for the night before, which is fantastic. But I mean, just the little moments of conversation that they have of the relatives with each other is just fantastic. Even when Kevin goes up to his mom, is just like, Mom, Uncle Frank won't let me watch the movie with them. And she's just like, I'm on the phone, Kevin. And he's just like, he's lying. It's not even rated R. I don't know why he won't let me. And she's just like, if Uncle Frank isn't going to let you watch it, it's pretty bad.
Something about an Uncle Frank. They're just kind of crazy.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah.
I mean, you have everything from like, his just random siblings interacting with each other in the hallway and just like talking shit to each other.
Yeah.
As they pass by each other. Like,
it's great. Yeah. What's his older brother's name?
Buzz.
Buzz. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buzz is a douche.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof. And I love it because you even get that like just like that sibling tendency to like make shit up to your younger siblings to scare them.
Mm-hmm.
So like when they see old man McMurray or whatever outside and Buzz is like clearly just lying out his ass and like trying to scare his cousin and his little brother, just saying, oh, you ever heard of the snow shoveling slaughter or whatever? And
the little cousin's one of the other Culkins, isn't he?
Fuller is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuller, the one who wets the bed. Yeah. And he's just chugging a Pepsi right before he goes to bed.
Yeah, just nailing that Pepsi. You're not going to get some drips in the middle of the night.
I love it. I love it. And I love it. It's just like, pack your suitcase, pack my suitcase. And then his redheaded cousin, like, I love the scene where Joe Pesci walks in as like the fake cop, and he's just like intimidated. He's like trying to get someone to like talk to him. He's just like, "Excuse me, are your parents here?" Yeah. And he's just like, "Okay." And then he just walks by, and he's just like,
he gets as much respect as the pizza boy trying to get paid for his pizzas.
yeah. And at one point, like his redheaded cousin just tosses his bag down the steps onto Joe Pesci's feet, and I was like, "This is so relatable. This is fantastic."
Yeah, Home Alone, with its, I didn't do the math, 103-minute runtime, has a 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb and a surprising 67% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What the?
I was not expecting
What?
that. It stopped me in my tracks a little bit when I saw it right
That's
now.
weird.
It is weird. It was weird as my IMDb app resetting itself as I was getting ready to get to the budget.
I just don't get that. Like, why? I don't know. How can you show it to someone and them not be at least laughing?
I mean, we'll have to read, I guess. Maybe they hate Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, what are those top consensus?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Made on a budget of $18 million, had an opening weekend of $17,081,997. But would go on to be an absolute blockbuster banger, pulling in $476,684,675. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot
That'll
of money.
buy so many pizzas.
So many, and it'll replace so many statues in the front yard.
It will, truly. One of the things I like the most about this movie, excellent choice by the way,
Thank you.
is the cartoon slapstick logic.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
It's fantastic.
Those burglars would have been so dead.
Oh, 100%. The kid would have been dead.
Yeah.
But if there's been a better depiction of like what like middle class family Christmas is, it's like that. You know,
I mean, they were pretty affluent.
they're
to be
upper
fair.
class. Yeah,
they're upper class for sure. That house is huge. They're going to Paris for Christmas.
Yeah,
That's not
I'm
middle
sorry,
class.
They're
my guy.
taking
Yeah.
their whole family to
Yeah.
to Paris for Christmas.
Including Uncle Frank, who, to be fair, seems like a little bit like a prick.
And Uncle Frank, to be fair, doesn't seem like he's the one paying for it.
No, doubtful. Highly doubtful.
I think Kevin's dad and mom are the one that are paying for everything. And
Yeah.
that's like at least 20 people.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, middle class.
100%. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Lower middle class, I think.
Yeah.
And that's an honorable mention for me. Like, I thought about Christmas Vacation, but, you know, this one just hits me in the heart because although they are very dysfunctional in Christmas Vacation, this is a believable.
Yeah.
You know, those are cartoony, but the way they interact, the stuff they say to each other, like, I've heard it. I've heard it all before.
They definitely feel like a family.
Yeah. Especially as it's like, look what you did, you little jerk. Apparently, the concept for the movie actually originated during the filming of one of our other great movies, Uncle Buck,
Oh, yeah, Uncle Buck.
in which Macaulay Culkin plays a character who interrogates a would-be sitter through the letter opening in the front door. That was all that spun the idea
Really?
for Home Alone.
That was the jump off
for
point.
John Hughes. Yeah.
Cool.
How crazy is that?
That's nuts. Thank the universe for Uncle Buck then. Without Uncle Buck, we would have no Home Alone.
Thank the universe for our John Hughes film ranking, which you can actually go back into our catalog and listen to right now. 'Tis the season for John Hughes films also.
For free. That's
For
a
free.
gift from us to you.
You don't even have to be part of our non-existent Patreon for that,
True.
which we should probably get on. Now that I think about that.
What are you going to do? We'll just have people send us money in physical like envelopes.
300 subscribers, one thing at a time, I guess.
Yeah.
I have a couple of fun facts about this. Catherine O'Hara, who played Mom, also badass from Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek, revealed in 2014 that Macaulay Culkin still calls her Mom,
That's adorable.
which is amazing, right? The picture that Kevin finds of Buzz's girlfriend where he says woof, it was actually a literal picture of a boy made to look like a girl because Chris Columbus thought it would be too mean to like have a real girl.
To just actually destroy some young girl's like self-image.
Yeah.
That's nice of John Hughes.
Chris Columbus. John
Chris
Hughes
Columbus.
didn't care. Yeah, John Hughes wrote that.
John Hughes was like, I'll spit in a little girl's face. I don't care.
Yeah, and actually to that point, it's good you bring that up because John Hughes was fiercely defensive of his screenplay and he insisted that everyone deliver the lines as written. He only allowed his good friend John Candy to improvise all his lines. And boy, did he deliver.
When John Candy is a peacock. You got to let him fly.
You gotta let him fly. And apparently he almost didn't make it into the film because it was like something like he was coming to the set on the way from filming something else, and he did it for John Hughes' sake. Like he's just like, yeah, I'll show up, I'll do a scene for you and stuff like that. Some 23-hour day, and then it got filmed, and he did all that stuff in a couple of takes. And
Really?
yeah, and it's amazing.
Absolutely, he's one of the most memorable parts of the movie, and he's only a tiny little chunk of it.
Yeah, and the Kenosha Kickers. I love how he's just like, yeah, we had a bunch of hits in the late 70s, and Kiss Me, yeah, we actually, I love how he's just like, yeah, we sold 623 copies.
Hell yeah. Love it. Which I don't know a lot about the polka scene. Maybe that's a lot.
I heard they like polka in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin?
The Kenosha Kickers. Oh, we're pretty big. Not in Chicago, but Sheboygan. Actually, some production notes. Many of the shots that focus on Kevin in the beginning of the movie are filmed from above his head. This is to give the feeling of being small and helpless.
Makes sense.
At the end of the movie, most of them are filmed from below, hence him being at the top of the staircase and looking down and shooting. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's nice. They start off doing like a Hobbit thing, and they end up doing like a Mark Wahlberg, Tom Cruise thing to make them look bigger.
If only he had pounded on his chest, he would have made those burglars like run out in fear.
Maybe.
Apparently, Joe Pesci was deliberate in that he didn't want to interact with Macaulay Culkin on set because he wanted him to be scared of him.
Nice.
When he would see him on
Joe
set.
Pesci could be a little scary, to be fair.
To be fair, they were almost the same size in height.
A couple of inch difference there.
Another note about Joe Pesci is that apparently Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern felt kind of indifferent about the movie's potential when they were shooting it. So they intentionally gave like over the top performances because they thought, I don't know, this will be like a straight to home video kind of thing or something like that.
But it fits. It helps bring that cartoony vibe home that they hit so well.
And it really does. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like iconic performances.
Yeah.
You can picture almost every scene that they're in, from Marv being
I'm doing it right now.
electrocuted to the door handle to the tar and feathering. It's just amazing.
Joe Pesci's like a fake cursing where he's like Russia.
Yeah, I mean he's like literally like Foghorn Leghorn or something.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
The scream that Daniel Stern Marv belts out when he has the tarantula scene was filmed live on set. There's no trickery with that one, but he was assured by the animal handlers that tarantulas do not have ears. So he was concerned about the tarantula's ears. Yeah.
What a nice guy.
And apparently Daniel Stern testified to this, saying that the tarantula's poison had not been extracted, as some had thought.
Whoops.
Yeah. So he could have been bitten on the face.
So, one thing I've heard about animal handlers in Hollywood is they're not that great at their jobs.
Or they like to mess with the actors too.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, I would
Yeah.
love that. Say we got like Kevin
Who doesn't
Spacey
like
or
a
something
good
on there.
spider prank?
I'd be like, Kevin, it's totally fine if you stand behind the horse and just smack his ass.
This is a movie horse that only works for ranch
Their legs
horses.
don't work like that. It wouldn't be Home Alone if we didn't talk about the score.
Okay, yeah.
Done by the great John Williams.
What are you going to do?
Apparently, he stepped in when the original composer backed out. The filmmakers, like, originally, they, like, suggested jokingly John Williams as doing the score. And they never thought that they could get him. But apparently, he saw an early cut of the movie, and he was, like, enchanted. And he was just like, let's do this, bro.
It hit him like it hit the rest of us. He was just
Yeah.
like, holy
With a snow shovel.
Bam! like a paint can to the face.
And he had that magical score. And that score is just amazing. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, he hits like the Christmas jingle really well, but it also feels like a heist movie. It's fantastic.
And even like the tender moment you get with Old Man McMurray or something in like the church when you find out that the kids are assholes and that his family just like they don't talk anymore.
Yeah, nobody comes to visit him anymore.
Yeah.
That's why he looks so sad.
Yeah, and like the choir music like kind of like intermingles with it and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing. The soft lighting, like everything. That movie makes me feel like a cup of hot cocoa is right in my hands.
Aw.
And it's
Delightful.
cold today, but
Yeah, it is a bit chilly.
I'm still drinking iced coffee. What can you do?
What can you do?
One last note is, I thought this is nice and touching because, as everyone knows, or most people know, we lost the great John Candy not long after this. Actually, John Candy shared all of his screen time with Catherine O'Hara at the airport scenes and stuff. The two had previously worked together on SCTV, which I'm personally not sure of. They were good friends. John Candy actually died on O'Hara's 40th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And-
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I know. Lose your best friend. And apparently O'Hara gave him a very tearful eulogy at his funeral, which was also her birthday. Pretty sad.
Yeah, it's a sad way to spend your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's so amazing. He was such an amazing dude.
Gone but not forgotten, John Candy.
Never. You will always live on as Uncle Buck and
Monsieur Candy.
Gus Polanski.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, those are probably two of my favorite John Candy performances, I gotta say. God dang. Yeah, what are you gonna do? That was an excellent choice, Danny.
Thank you.
That was an excellent choice. Home Alone, great. I also had some honorable mentions. I had 2019's Knives Out.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, really good dysfunctional family banger movie.
Also, a sequel's coming to that.
Yeah. Oh, strange title.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what it means.
A Knives Out story or something?
It's like Glass Onion, a Knives Out story.
And it's going to Netflix.
Huh.
In America.
Strange.
Yeah.
2011's You're Next, which is a family so dysfunctional that there's a murder for hire plot.
True.
That's great. Also the best final girl in any horror, maybe.
Yeah.
And 2001's The Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, absolutely. Had to. I honestly thought you were going to go with that one. I didn't
seemed
wanna
like
do it.
too much of a slam dunk, you know what I mean?
Kind of
But
on the nose.
honestly, I mean, obviously, I like my number one pick more than that. That's why it's an honorable mention. But it's also directed by Wes Anderson.
I think I know.
Written by Wes Anderson, Roman Coppola, and Jason Schwartzman. 2007's The Darjeeling Limited.
This is one of
y'all.
your favorite Wes Anderson
Come on,
movies.
ride the train. I love this movie so much.
Right. Woo,
Yeah. Ooh. I love a sad movie. And boy, is this movie sad.
Sure
I
is.
still cried a little bit last night when we rewatched this movie.
Nice. Can you attest to that?
Yeah, he was crying.
Yeah.
Good.
Grace was like, "Are you crying?" I was
Put
like,
that
"A
on
little bit."
record. Frank,
Yeah.
Frank cries to movies.
No
Nerd.
shame at all. The brother thing always hits me. You know what I mean?
That's true.
For those of you,
I don't know why. Your brother sucks.
My brother does suck. That's probably why it hits me so bad. No, I love you, John, even though you suck.
You were his buzz in real life.
Yeah, legit though. I guess I'll hit numbers before I get to the synopsis. Synopsis is how you pronounce that word. I was just testing you, and you passed. Good job, listener. But there's 91-minute run times. It has a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb and a 69 percent on Rotten Tomatoes. Starring Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman, and Owen Wilson. Was made on a budget of $16 million. Had an opening weekend flop of $134,938 and will go on to worldwide gross $35,310,019.
I just want to have a hipster brag here and say that I went to go see this movie when it came out.
Yeah, same. And then I rented it over and over and over again from Hollywood Videos.
Oh, wow. That was still around back then.
Yes, it was. You
Crazy.
are correct. The film is about the three estranged Whitman brothers, Francis, Peter, and Jack, who meet on a passenger train in India to embark on a journey to attempt to force a spiritual awakening and reconnect after not speaking for over a year following their father's funeral. They immediately began getting loaded on Indian pharmaceuticals and annoying one another with their idiosyncrasies and old habits.
Yeah.
This is one of Wes Anderson's more realistic films in that it's less a beautiful, fantastical, whimsical world that he created. It's very grounded in reality, but you still feel that melancholic whimsy that like Anderson is so known for.
It's a pretty realistic premise, too.
Very realistic premise. The strained relationships between the brothers, it's so funny, and if you have siblings, like you totally feel it. The way they immediately start, like Owen Wilson's the older brother, he immediately starts like bossing the other two around, and you can tell he's been doing it for years and years. They're constantly telling. It's a triangle of brothers, and one corner of that triangle will tell the other one a secret. And that secret keeper will immediately tell the third one. And then they constantly do that. It's there's so many moments and quotes.
Pretty sure there's a moment in Sunny where they do that, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like actually talking right to each other. Like, yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, it's so good, man. And they're so confined in that little like train car. The way Owen Wilson treats his personal assistant
Oh,
with
yeah.
alopecia, they keep calling it his weird albino disease. It's so good, man. You of course have a few of the Wes Anderson favorites. You even have I wish I would have written his name down. I feel bad, but the Indian gentleman who's the train conductor who comes back later in
Yeah.
the hotel
Budapest.
Budapest. Yeah,
Yeah, Budapest Hotel.
that's funny because I was gonna say the Grand Budapest Hotel, but I felt like I was being racist.
It is Grand Budapest.
It is the
Hotel.
Grand Budapest.
Why would that be racist?
I don't know because I just talked about the Indian guy and then I was like Budapest. That's yeah, right. I thought my brain was working.
Budapest is in
anyways.
Hungary.
I don't know, bro. Hey, I'm an American. But yeah, it's always been one of my favorite Wes Andersons.
Is it the older gentleman or the younger gentleman from Grand Budapest?
He is one of the other concierges, not at the Grand Budapest Hotel, but one of the when they start working through the network of concierges. He's one of the guys in there. But it's great, man. Owen Wilson is like severely depressed. His face is all mashed up and you don't find out till much later. Waris Aluwaha.
I can't.
Aluwalia.
I think.
I feel like it's more offensive now.
We apologize, guys. We tried.
Yeah, you know, what are you gonna do? But yeah, it's great. Everybody has their own chip on their shoulder. Like Jason Schwartzman's obsessed with his ex. Adrian Brody's like struggling with becoming a father. And he's got one line where he's like, where he was keeping it a secret, and he's like, "Why are you keeping it a secret?" He's like, "I'm just not super excited about the idea of being a father. I always assumed I would get divorced, so having kids wasn't part of the plan."
That's a good assumption. I mean, if you shoot for disappointment at all times,
That's true. Set a low bar, and it's really easy to achieve above that.
and the motivation of it is that they're trying to like reunite with their estranged mother, right?
Yeah, that's Owen Wilson's motivation.
yeah.
He's keeping it a secret. He's trying to like, they even say like when they find out, they're like, "You kept it a secret because we wouldn't have come if you told us that's what we were here for."
Very
but
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, very Galaxy Quest. It's a good time. Yeah, man. And they definitely feel like brothers, the way they bicker and stuff. There's like a cute little fight scene where Jason Schwartzman ends up having to mace Owen Wilson and Adrian Brody. And Owen Wilson yells at him like, "You don't love me." And Adrian Brody's like, "I do love you." Jason Schwartzman hits him with, "I love you too, but I'm going to mace you in the face." And they're, oh man, when he smacks him in the face with the belt right before that, it's so great. It's so fantastic.
Classic. And now it's why. I mean, that's a very Brothers film. It's a very, very Brothers film.
Very Brothers film. It's also got the nice element of them being like New York City highfalutin types, like in the country of India, and just being super touristy there. They're all very like self-centered and stuff, which makes it really hard to do this whole spiritual awakening journey. It's so great, man. Delightful little soundtrack. Weird similarities between my two picks, which I didn't even realize till after I had picked them, but spoiler alert, both families in both movies don't really change until like a death happens.
Yeah.
The death is like what always makes me cry in this movie, like when the little Indian boy dies. It gets me so hard.
It's very sad.
And they're all just super sad about it, which, to be fair, pretty sad moment.
It does happen, yeah.
Yeah, it does happen. They both feature transportation via like little scooters, like
How
little
weird.
moped
I
scooters.
hadn't even put these two together
Right?
until you thought about it, yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Drug use.
If you ever want to win Frank over, just put families in a moving vehicle, and there's your movie.
There it is. There it is.
Make someone die first.
Yeah. Not first, but like later on.
At
Don't
some
set
point.
me up for it. Maybe have me all like, haha, what? Oh my god. Oh my god, that's really sad.
Just can't be a dog. You can't break that rule.
Yeah, it's really great. Love it. Can't get enough of it. Darjeeling Limited 2.
Electric
Electric
Boogaloo.
Boogaloo. But yeah, even though every time Wes Anderson comes out with a movie, it feels like it's his best movie, this will probably always be like my personal favorite. It just hit me really hard.
Almost every Wes Anderson movie is about a family.
Yeah. Wes Anderson's probably has a dysfunctional family.
I would
let's be
imagine
honest, yeah.
so.
He's probably got a weird relationship
I'm
with his
trying to think
family.
about one that isn't really centered around a family. Bottle Rocket has a family. I mean, the two are brothers.
Yeah,
right?
the two of the brothers. I think the only one that doesn't is like
Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs doesn't really.
Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Fantastic Mr. Fox is a family. They're a Fox
They
family. But
They're a Fox family.
God, why can't I think of it? The one with Jason Schwartzman where he's at the prep school.
Rushmore.
Rushmore. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. I think
Yeah,
so.
that one's like the least family centered.
Yeah, that's not a big part of the story, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh? Wow, even Grand Budapest. I don't even think it's.
No, but Zero's family's dead,
That's true.
and what's the main character's name?
Monsieur
Ralph
something?
Fiennes. Yeah, Monsieur.
I don't know.
Whatever. But he doesn't have a family because he just has sex with old ladies.
That's true. Like some old.
Yeah, he likes them post-menopausal.
I can resonate with that.
Yeah, I have a feeling like Jason Schwartzman's character is Wes Anderson in this movie. Like he's like a writer who always does short stories that are clearly based on the family. You know what I mean? And when they're always like, no, yeah, it's just like I remember it. And he always hits them with, oh, all the characters are fictional.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, it's
man.
fantastic.
Solid choice.
Thank you.
Solid choice. I think both of our tops today were tops,
Yeah.
if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And I'm sure
agree
if
with
David was here, our picks would be better than his.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a good taste
No.
in movies.
No,
if
not at
anything.
all.
And it's a good thing he's not here to defend that, so we can just say that.
Yeah, hit us up in the comments, nerd.
Stay in your lane.
What a great time, man.
That's right.
Right on time for Thanksgiving. Right on time before we see our own families, however they function. That is going to take us over to our next segment, which is not going to be, oh, that's interesting. Which is interesting because there's not really any movie news that was exciting, you know?
Nothing worth talking about.
Nothing worth talking about. I saw the John Wick 4 trailer finally, so
Nothing worth talking about.
I love John Wick. I knew you weren't going to be as excited as I was because you suck. But I can't wait to see Keanu Reeves punch dudes in the face with bullets. It's going to be great.
Oh, well, I could. Well, we're gonna go into Rex. Right?
Yeah, we are going to go into Rex.
I can just say as a channel lore update, as someone who has never seen Bill and Ted before.
Speaking of Keanu,
Right, I saw, and I seen Bill Ted. I saw Bill and Ted 1, Excellent Journey, and then I saw Bogus Journey.
sick.
Thanks to Sam and
Most righteous.
Most Righteous, Daniel S. Preston, Esquire. I can say without a doubt those movies f***ing bang.
Yeah, those movies rock as hard as Alex Winter's midriff.
Yeah, you could kind of see it going away in the next one in Bogus Journey. But apparently, I didn't know that it had stopped after Bogus Journey. I thought there were 3 before Face the Music.
No, and
But-
I'm assuming you haven't seen Face the Music
I haven't yet. No.
If you enjoyed the first 2, watch Face the Music, man. It's everything you're going to want out of it.
And people had like crapped on Bogus Journey. I mean, it does have a low score, but I mean, I was watching it and I was just like, this is in a way funnier than Excellent Journey.
I mean, it's
think.
not like Criterion, but it is fantastic.
I think it's funnier than Excellent Journey, to be honest.
It's really good.
Because it's
the
wild.
element of having like death,
Yes.
Station's bodacious donk.
Martian butt.
Dude, it's so good, man. It's a wild ride.
I love it. He's just like, he just looks at God when he leaves and he's just like, they Melvin to me. I was telling Sam, I was like, that's so vindicating because remember when we were kids, we used to say Melvin and no one believed us that it was a real thing. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know that it was from Bill and Ted, or if anything, the front wedgie, man.
Front wedgie.
You gotta do it.
Yep. Would you recommend it?
100%, man.
I would recommend it too.
It has like that dude, where's my car humor niche, but it's like refined to like
Yeah, I would even argue without Bill and Ted's, there would be no Dude, Where's
yeah.
My Car?
100%. It's arguably better than Dude, Where's My Car? Like, hell yeah, I would watch it.
Arguably. And we love Dude, Where's My Car?
We do. But I mean, it's a buddy comedy that is just amazing. The jokes still hit. They're hilarious, except for the F part, the F word part. But that's pretty funny still. Like the where their selves die off of the cliff. And he's just like, they hawk loogies onto each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just hawk a loogie on my dead self, bro. Yeah.
What a good time, man. What a good time. I'm so happy I can like quote that movie to you now and you
Yeah.
understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Face the Music now.
Yeah, you should honestly give it a watch. It's pretty good. It's the third best out of the three. Like I would go 2, 1,
Really?
3, but it's still totally worth the watch.
Interesting. But it's a good like send off.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth at all until you see the like Guitar Center product placement.
Oh.
And then you're like, ugh.
Oh, like that is in Tenacious D and all that?
Yeah.
Forget
yeah.
that. I always forget that scene's in there.
Is that Zach Wilde, who's like the Guitar Center associate?
No,
in
it's
the movie?
Ben Stiller.
Is it Ben Stiller?
Yeah, it's with the big hair.
I remember it totally different. How weird.
Yeah, I always think that Ben Stiller plays the perfect GC guy.
Oh, weird. You know what? Weird stream crossing. I'm actually thinking of this scene in Californication where he takes his daughter to a Guitar Center
That's
and
hilarious.
Zach Wilde's working there.
Huh.
Yeah, weird things happening in my brain. That's an excellent recommendation, Danny. Excellent.
I should watch that. California.
I'll recommend Californication. I'm not watching it right now, but I wish I was.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're starting to dive through a little bit of Black Mirror, which is a
good.
series I never
Nice.
finished and Grace hasn't watched yet, but we watched our first episode together and we're going to be hitting that pretty hard.
So where had you seen up to?
I think like second, third season, and there
Okay.
was like 5 of them now.
I think like 4, including that Bandersnatch thing that they
I
did.
have not seen Cumberbatch yet.
Old Cumberbatch. I mean, the quality significantly dips in like the later ones. I feel like, but the first season and the second season, primo.
Nice.
Your cousin, primo. It's good stuff.
I was so confused at the Your Cousin thing, and then you brought it home for me. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I would say that season 1 is my favorite. I would say that episode 1 is probably one of my favorite.
You know what? I accidentally put on episode 3 first, and then we ended it where we were like,
Trying to
wow.
remember which one that
And
is.
I immediately told Grace, like, that's not even the most f***ed up one.
Oh, which one is
episode
it?
3 is the one where you have the chip where you can access the memories. You know what I mean?
The history of
is-
your life or something like that? Story of your life or
yeah,
something like that?
Total history of life or something like that.
Oh, man, that
which
one's
is
so
pretty
sad.
dark. But
Yeah.
that first episode is something, man.
Did you have Grace
can
watch
see-
that one yet?
We haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great. Dude.
but I
You'll
have the
love
scene
it.
so burned into my memory right now that I can see
Yep.
it so completely.
Yeah, I remember when that episode ended the first time I watched it being like, that was horrifying.
I would assume that you were like, I have to jerk off now. Oh my God, I got to jerk off right now.
I meant when that ended.
After the shame set in again.
Yeah, I cannot recommend Black Mirror enough as well. I mean, it's sad to say that a lot of that stuff is coming to fruition now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an episode with Daniel Kaluuya in it. I think in the first season, maybe the 4th season, but it's essentially the metaverse, and that's come to be
Weird, yeah.
That episode Nosedive is kind of what China was doing with social credits. And all that stuff. China.
No, yeah, straight up, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading about China's social credit system and being like, you mean like that episode? Is China
It
ripping
is
off
Nosedive.
Black Mirror right now?
Yeah.
And yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
China does not care about IP.
No. Elon Musk was trying to do the thing that's in that episode that you showed Grace last night, the chip in the head thing.
Yeah, nuts.
He's also an incompetent idiot that can't get anything done. So,
Mhm. He's going to burn Twitter to the ground. It's going to be hilarious.
oh, I'm glad about that. But I mean, also he's not a genius.
No.
He is not a genius.
What are you gonna do? Rewatched Blazing Saddles the other night.
Nice.
Still slaps.
Nice.
Still a banger. Highly recommended if you haven't watched it yet. Be prepared because they're gonna say the N word a whole
There's
bunch.
some bad stuff in there, yeah. But I'll say it. I have been rewatching.
I was like, you're gonna say the
Oh, I'm not going to
N-word
say
right now,
that.
dude?
No, but what I will say is even fiery. I have been watching Kitchen Nightmares and going through the top 10 episodes of Kitchen Nightmares ever released.
Sick.
I did tell Frank about one, and I've been telling people about others that Sam actually recommended to me, and it was fantastic. And if you have any time, at least take 45 minutes, go onto Hulu and watch season 5, the last episode of season 5 called Amy's Baking Company. It is
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this.
some of the best minutes of television I have ever seen in my life, and those people are 100% real, and they will not relent on how bad they are. It is fantastic, and it was amazing. Just watch it. I can't recommend Kitchen Nightmares enough. Fantastic.
I feel like those are great recommendations, Danny.
Thank you.
And I would recommend that we get on to our next segment, Character Limit Extended.
I love that.
Which is the segment where we talk a little bit more about the movie we talked a little bit about a week ago. which
You are
was
nailing
No
these.
Country for Old Men.
That's right. 2007's No Country for Old Men, I believe.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. Directed by the Coen brothers
Yes.
and based off of the Cormac McCarthy's novel.
Ooh, I just thought of a peep that I can't believe we haven't had before. The Coens versus the Wachowskis.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll
That
have to
would be a
toss
good
it in the
one.
jar sometime.
Yeah, we're going to put that in there. Yeah. I had The Boss Show.
True. Yeah.
I did. Man, we've watched this movie so many times and it never ceases to amaze me. This movie is incredible. It ages like fine wine. It is I don't even feel like there's any age to this movie. It doesn't need to fit within an era. I mean, I guess it's technically in like the late 90s or something like that. It seems
It's like the 70s or the 90s.
Is it the 70s? It could be the 70s.
It's either the late 70s or early 80s, I think, judging from the cars.
It's I mean, incredible. The suspense in this movie alone just starts to build and build and build, and then it turns like a slow screw until the end. I mean, the chase overall just continues to evolve into more and more suspenseful situations. I mean, you have everything from like, you know, the initial meet, or like where you see Chigurh like interacting with people on his way to the briefcase, and then everything from where he knows that Brolin has the briefcase at that point.
He's just spreading fear and confusion across the West Texas.
Exactly.
It's set in 1980.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie that does so well with explaining so little. You don't know where the briefcase came from. You know it's a drug deal gone wrong. You don't know who Chigurh is, why he's, you know, I mean, all you know is he's like a top hitman, and that's it. You don't know really much more than that. You don't need to know more than that because the suspense is the journey itself.
Yeah, true. Yeah, man. Can't say enough about it, which is why this is now with this podcast, it's the third time we've talked about this movie because we hit it on Most Texas MovieQuest.
This is true.
Which you should check out. I re-listened to it recently, and it's one of our better episodes. I had a great time
Most
listening
Texas
to it.
movies. Go back to UMR, scroll a little bit down, you'll find it.
Yes. You know, post-rec, if you're new to the channel and you are even the slightest Tremors fan or Saw fan, listen to because those are two gems too.
I really love our Tremors ranking.
Yeah.
I also love the Saw ranking. The Saw ranking was one of the most fun we've ever had with an episode, for sure.
Truly. Like, I had way more fun recording that episode than I did watching some of those movies.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
referring
for sure.
to Saw, not Tremors.
That's 100% for sure. Wes Anderson
Uh,
ranking is also really good as well.
But yeah, every time I watch No Country for Old Men, I still feel the suspense all the way through. That like really slow burn and huge explosions, nice little action scenes and stuff like that. Totally forget about the fact that there's no score because you're just totally in the
It's
moment. You just get all the like Texas sounds. Every time I watch it, also I forget about those CGI pronghorns. It throws me off a little
I
bit.
forget about that.
Yeah. It's so quick that you almost don't even notice it. But every time I notice it, I'm like, oh man, that's some bad
They're
CGI.
also out in like harsh light too. Huh?
Yeah,
That's
it's out in
weird.
the harsh West Texas daylight. You know what I mean? They don't look great.
It looks like Marfa. I think they filmed around Marfa, and I can't remember, but I do. Fun fact: I actually stayed in that hotel that they have the chase scene in
Oh, nice.
in Las Vegas, New Mexico. It's a small little town with like a old Western front and all that, but I think it is like the Central Hotel or something like that. But it was in one of those. It's legitimately the room that he gets shot out of with the shotgun and all that stuff. So
That is great.
yeah, it's really cool. Really, really cool.
Weird crossover to today's episode. So I can't think of the actress's name, so I'm looking it up right now. The lady who plays the pageant runner in Little Miss Sunshine is Carla Jean Moss's mom in No Country for Old Men. The lady who's like, wow, you don't see a Mexican in a suit every day.
Oh, God.
So when I saw her in Little Miss Sunshine, I was like, hey, I just saw you. You were being racist. So that was kind of fun.
That's a fun little fact.
But yeah, recommend No Country for Old Men. if
Check
you
it
haven't
out.
Checked it out
It's
yet.
also on our channel under Character Limit Exceeded. No Country for Old Men.
Yes. That takes us to our final segment. Everybody's favorite hypothetical, very real debate segment. Peeps and Predicts, y'all. where we take a set of peeps or single or set of peeps,
You were
whether
doing
they
so
be
good today.
fictional or real. I feel like my coffee wore out. Like
Yeah.
in the last 15 minutes, I could feel the brain switch in my head.
In my head thing,
thinks.
the thing that's right there. Wow.
But yeah, we're gonna see who's gonna win in a wacky face off, 2 out of 3, and go against our reigning champ, Daemon Targaryen.
Frank, why don't you pull off the peeps for me?
I'll give it a shot. Let's see if I can manage that. Today, facing off, we have Hannibal Lecter versus Hanna-Barbera cartoons. All of them. All right.
This was me.
All right, Danny.
For those of you who aren't aware or are too old to know what Hanna-Barbera cartoons is, I mean, it's this animation studio that made like Scooby-Doo and
Yogi Bear.
Wacky
Racers.
Jabberjaw, Wacky Racers, Quick Draw,
Quick Draw McGraw.
El Kabong, all that
El
stuff.
Kabong.
And if you don't know, you need to educate yourself.
It'd been funny if you did like Hannibal Lecter versus like Hannibal the Conqueror.
That would have been fun too.
Yeah, that would have been fun too.
Again, a reference that our viewers probably wouldn't know. Who is most likely to successfully?
Jesus Christ, what did you do?
I'm so glad this is the one I chose. Who is most likely to successfully dodge Mig's flinging in Silence of the Lambs?
Wow. For those of you unfamiliar with Silence of the Lambs, one of the gentleman's the wrong word. One of the
Inmate?
one of the inmates in the basement of the psychiatric hospital flings some, I'm gonna go scientific with it, semen
There you go.
onto the face of Clarice, our main character.
Yeah.
Totally Spider-Man
Successfully.
thwacks her right in the face, direct shot. Which has got to be something he practiced.
This is gonna be awful.
Like to not hit the bar in the cell and get it directly
through
on the face.
bars?
Yeah. It was almost like a no-look fadeaway jumper. He was just like, wow.
So who is most likely to successfully dodge that? I mean,
Hannibal
Lecter?
Hannibal Lecter is a slippery character.
He knows Migs too, though, so he'd probably know that that's coming.
I mean, he talked him into killing himself. Nice.
He did talk him into killing himself.
Yeah. I don't know if he has the quick to reactness. Well,
He could.
yeah, he could. Yeah. Yeah. In Hannibal, he pulls some pretty slick
pretty quick.
moves.
Yeah, he's pretty
some pretty
slick.
quick moves.
I mean, if we're talking about Hanna-Barbera cartoons, I mean, there's a plethora of people who probably could.
Yeah, a plethora of people who probably could.
Magilla Gorilla probably could.
Magilla Gorilla. What an ridiculous set of peeps, Danny. Thank you for
I
this.
mean, it's been a while since we've had really ridiculous peeps on here.
I mean, it's great. I'm not condemning. I am simply calling it what it is and thanking you for the stretch that I feel happening in my brain right now. I'm going to say Hannibal Lecter because if it's a group of Hanna-Barbera cartoons, they're going to be so packed into the space.
Someone's going to get it.
Somebody's getting hit with a cum.
Probably Jabberjaw because he has so much mass and that giant mouth. You know what I'm saying?
I'm picturing things in my mouth that I never thought I would picture.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
This is an experience.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have weird dreams tonight.
Did you say picture things in my mouth?
Maybe.
No, I'm leaving that in there.
I mean, because we're talking about the cum. Jesus Christ! What's our next predict?
Wow. Very serious podcast here. Very serious.
We're professionals, folks.
Who is most likely to eat brains with fava beans and a nice Chianti?
Well, I mean, Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see that one coming.
Jabberjaw might eat some brains,
Yeah, it's
but
true.
he's not chasing it down with a fine Chianti.
No, he's not classy enough.
No.
I don't know if there's anyone classy enough to even know what to pair a wine with other than like Daphne. I know. Yeah, I can't think of anyone like that.
I mean, it's got to be Hannibal Lecter. He did it.
Yeah, he himself did that exact step.
That exact thing.
That's going to take Hannibal Lecter.
If this prediction or predict was against Daemon Targaryen, then we might have a pretty close race.
Although I could see him doing both.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's going to take Hannibal Lecter up to our reigning champ, Daemon Targaryen of House of the Dragon. Let's see what they got to do.
What it is, what it do.
Two very cunning characters.
They're both silver-haired.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Both wild-eyed.
Yeah.
Who's bringing the best dish to Thanksgiving dinner? Dude, we might have...
Dude, I would have to give it to Hannibal Lecter.
Oh my
Because
God.
I've never seen Daemon Targaryen cook.
I don't think he can.
Dude, you know Hannibal Lecter is banging out those dishes. He's
Yeah.
got all the finest recipes.
Yeah.
He's highfalutin, so he cooks with really fancy ingredients,
Yeah.
including like the brains of an FBI agent.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He might... he's more than likely going to like slip in some human flesh in there.
You're gonna eat some people parts.
But he might be able to disguise them and not even tell you. Also, he's going to know what vintage to pair it with.
True. It's gonna be a whole delightful experience.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The king has been brought down.
Nice.
Hannibal Lecter is the new Peeps and Predicts champion, y'all.
Excellent. It's always exciting to get a new champion.
And
honestly.
dethroned so quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to finish the statement.
He was here for a few episodes, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But hands down, I mean, Hannibal Lecter's taking
Easily.
it to the whole.
Easily. And what
my
better
face
theme
hole.
for our Thanksgiving UMR?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. So what do we have coming up here, Frank? I think we be sure to look back at our Silence of the Lambs CLE.
Yeah, check out the back catalog.
And
Don't go too deep because there's some questionable things in there, you know.
I say
But,
look all the way.
Yeah, look all the way. Let's see. Coming up next on Uninformed Movie Reviews, the YouTube channel, we have Silence of the Lambs coming up next, actually, which we haven't gotten there yet. Because we're screwing with the timeline a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Peek behind the camera, we're pulling double duty today. What are you gonna do?
Stinky duties.
Stinky little duties. So coming up next, we have the character limit exceeded for the Silence of the Lambs, which you should be seeing a Sunday from now if you're viewing this the day it came out. Then we'll have our Merry Krampus, a deep dive on Krampus, which will be a lot of fun. We'll have my birthday pick, Walk Hard. The Emperor's...
That's too damn bad!
Yeah, wrong kid died. And paired with the Emperor's New Groove for the 22nd anniversary.
That's amazing.
God damn.
We're hitting all the anniversaries this year.
It's fantastic. We'll be rounding out the year with the first annual Festivus episode, or
That's
TBD.
right.
You know, haven't
That's
really worked
right.
out all the kinks there. And closing with Violent Night, which looks like a lot of fun.
Looks like a good time.
Yeah.
Also coming up soon is going to be the CLE Awards.
The CLE Awards, we'll have that coming up pretty soon. Movie resolutions.
Oh, man.
We'll be hitting you with a special treat to celebrate our 300 subscribers. Bet you can't guess what it is. Bet you can't guess.
Type in the comments if you can.
Yeah. I won't put the date here because we still got to figure that out. So like, share, subscribe.